All right, next I'm going to go through the FRQ. I'm going to start with the non-calculator portion. So we're given two functions. It says find all of the values. Oh, hold on, let me do my pen real quick. Okay, all of the values for which g of x equals 0. That means when is the function equal to 0? Same thing as basically find the zeros. So, and it's talking about g. The zeros, all you have to do is take all of the factors and set them equal to 0. So your zeros would be 1, -2, and -3 over 2. It's as easy as that. Okay, now for part 2, for this one, we just would have to first factor. So I'm going to do that up here. I'm going to pull out an x. So then it'd be x squared plus 3x minus 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and factor this part. Looks like it would be plus 4 minus 1. Set each of those equal to 0. So x equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. So the zeros would be 0, -4, and 1. And that's it. So that's it for part A. You literally just had to find the zeros. So one of them you didn't have to factor, and one of them you did have to factor. But that's it for that. Okay, let's go to part B. Okay, we got another function, and find the values for which k of x is greater than 0. So for this one, we first need to factor, and then I would draw a little sketch. So this is a trinomial where a is greater than 1. We haven't done these specifically in class, but this is definitely something you should know how to factor. You can do the a times c method or the guess and check method. I usually do guess and check. So it should be, let's see, 3 and 1 is the only way to get 3, and then these have to multiply to get 14. So I think it should be 7 and 2 minus and plus. So that would be -21 plus 2, which would give you -19. Yeah, perfect. And then I would set my factors equal to 0. So if I set that equal to 0, I would get -2/3. And if I set that equal to 0, I will get 7. So those are my two x-intercepts. So I'm going to go ahead and plot those. -2/3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be like, well, let's put it there. And then 7. This is positive and even, so it's up and up. And it's cross cross, so this is just basically a parabola is what this is. Sorry, it's a little bit ugly. It's hard to write on here. But anyways, so there's my little parabola. Okay, and then the question is, where is the function greater than 0? So that would just be this little piece and this little piece. So the answer would be from -infinity to -2/3. And because it doesn't have a line underneath, parenthesis, and from 7 to infinity. And that's it. That's all that one's asking. So this question should have been easy. It's just all algebra 2 stuff. Nothing crazy. Okay, next. Okay, the polynomial function has a degree of 4. Okay, degree of 4. Zeros are 0, 5, and 3 minus 2i. We just learned this about complex numbers. Because that is a complex number, because that is one of the zeros, what is another 0 that they did not mention? 3 plus 2i, the conjugate. So just remember that. That is always like a hidden 0. They won't tell you, right? They're not going to say, oh, there's a 4th 0 that we didn't mention, right? So you have to remember that. And then just said write a possible expression. So I'm going to write f of x equals, if 0 was a 0, the factor would be x. If 5 were a 0, the factor would be x minus 5. For a factor, it's always x minus the number, x minus the 0. So for this one, it'd be x minus 3 minus 2i. And for that one, it'd be x minus 3 plus 2i. And that's all they want. That's all you had to write. That's it. And you don't even have to multiply all of this out. You're done. Okay, so that's it for the non-calculator. Should have been easy. The calculator portion, I'll show you a little more after, like when I come back, how to find these things in the calculator, because it's actually, you're able to find everything basically either using, I'm just going to write this down so you can practice. If you're on the, hold on real quick. If you're on the graph and you click second calc, that's a way you can find zeros, max and mins. That's pretty much the main use you're going to use for it. Or the table will also help you find things. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this into Desmos so I can look at it. I don't have a graphing calculator with me. So 2.5x to the fourth plus 3x to the third minus 2.6x squared minus 5.1x minus 5.6. Okay. On the closed interval, so right away for this one, I just want you to take note, because it's a closed interval, we're going to have endpoints. And endpoints could be absolute minimums. Absolute minimum and absolute maximum. Okay, so I'm just going to say absolute min, absolute max. So between negative 0.5 another thing is when you go to the graph, press trace, and that will help you move along the graph. Okay, but anyways. Okay, so I'm trying to look on Desmos here on my phone. Okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to see it very well. So I'm just going to show the answers. And you guys have access to these answers. So, but the absolute minimum is negative 8.8. So all you had to literally do is, well, actually, okay, actually, let me put this here. All you have to do is, if you're on the graph and you do second calc and then you click minimum and then you put in the interval that they gave you, so negative 0.5 to 1.2, and then you just have to do the left-hand side, the right-hand side, and press enter, enter. Enter twice. It should give you the where the minimum is. So that's just, I can't show you right this minute, but that's how you would put it in your calculator. So the minimum should be right there, and then the maximum should be right there. And you literally just type that in your calculator and it will shoot it out for you. And then let's go to the next part. The next question says find all the real zeros. So again, how you would do this is go to your calculator again when you're on the graph, click second calc, and then click zeros. And you just have to go to the left and to the right of the zero and then press enter, enter, and it will give you the zero. And you can see what there's two of them. So it's negative 1.6 and 1.4. So again, you just use the calculator to help you find them. You can also look at the table and figure out where the y is 0. So that's another thing you could do as well. But you might have to do table set and go by like point ones or something, so you can get it smaller increments. And then the last question says, oh, this we can do. The maximum number of non-real zeros. So, we learned this the other day. Degree is 4. There can be a maximum of 4 distinct zeros. 2 are real, we just found. Therefore, there could be a maximum of 2 non-real zeros. It has to add up to 4. And that's it. All right. And that's the FRQ.